Hi, ladies. So excited for this episode of I Start First podcast. How many of you are not comfortable with video, right? It's such a beast of its own. A lot of times we avoid it altogether. That is why I cannot wait for you to meet my guest today, coming to us all the way from Canada with over 20 years of professional broadcasting experience on national TV. Sheryl is going to share with you how to get better, what to do to grow your YouTube channel, how to show up on video and get comfortable with that, and most importantly, how to cash in on camera. Don't miss this episode. Hi, loves. Welcome to I Start First podcast, the show for boss babes who start ideas, businesses, dreams, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Alenka Cullinan, founder of I Start First, speaker, author, and business coach, aka Queen of Pushing Boss Babes Off the Ledge. On this show, I chat with epic humans who are guaranteed to up-level your business and mindset. Are you ready to sparkle up? Let's go. Hi, ladies. So excited to have you on this episode, especially because we're living pretty much in digital world at this point. Whether we like it or not, we are stuck in front of our computers, but most importantly, we're kind of stuck in front of our cameras. So I'm very excited because I couldn't think of anyone better than my guest, Sheryl, who has unbelievable experience in video, in production, in being on camera. So Sheryl, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Alenka. My pleasure to be here. This is an important topic because of what you just said, that we live in the digital age and a lot of people are still marketing like it's 1999.
Yes. So true. But Sheryl, with your story, being in broadcasting professionally, can you share a little bit of that and kind of tell us how did you even get into it?
Sure. I actually had a news magazine program that I was hosting when I was 18 years old. I was a volunteer at a cable TV station. They tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, want to give hosting a try?" And I said, "Me?" So I started when I was 18, and I progressed through a variety of different roles: reporting, business reporting, radio, hosting, interviewing. It eventually led me to a position at a national specialty network here in Canada, which is where I'm based. And it's one of the top managed companies in the country. It's one of the top brands in the country, seen by millions of people. And I spent 17 years there on air. So a lot of my experience was live broadcasting, but I also did serve as a news manager to a team of 17 people. I was a designated trainer. I also taught college. I actually used to teach journalism students how to perform on camera before they went out into the world.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And but that's the beauty of this digital world. The fact that we can have you with us all the way from Canada, it's pretty awesome. So there are definitely, pluses and minuses to the whole digital age, but video is scary for so many people. The fact that you taught it, I know you understand it firsthand, but also that's probably one of the biggest, pushbacks I have from my clients, from women who I know are listening to this podcast, because everybody feels that video is so intimidating. So how do you help them get over this?
It is intimidating. And I want to reassure you, if you're listening or watching this right now, that you're not alone. I was intimidated when I started. I just happened to have started earlier than you. That is the only difference. We all have in common, we all start at zero. One of the things that makes it so intimidating is the fact that it is an inanimate object. The camera lens is not a living being. It is an object. And so it is completely unnatural to speak to an inanimate object. But the trick of it, Alenka, is to teach yourself and train yourself to not think of it as an inanimate object, but to think of it like a person. So this is what we do in broadcasting. if I'm sitting in the studio, and pardon my voice, I just did a workshop yesterday, so I've been speaking for about 24 hours straight.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
um, when I would be in the studio, I'm usually by myself with robotic cameras. It's just me and a camera, and it's a bigger lens. It's a huge, $50,000, broadcast camera. But my role as the broadcaster is to not look at that lens and get intimidated by the technology. It's to not even think about the technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's to think about that lens as being one person. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when they start, if they find the courage to start doing video, is they talk to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. You want to be thinking of it as one singular person. So picture someone that you know, someone that you trust, someone who you want to communicate that particular message with. When we're talking about entrepreneurship, it makes sense to think of that as your avatar or your ideal client or customer. Think about that person and talk to one person instead of opening your video with, hey, everybody, hi, everyone. That doesn't build connection because that person on the other side knows you're not talking to them. So it's better to open and say, how are you today? I'm so happy that you're here. Let me show you the weather, or let me teach you this thing today.
Gosh, so good. I literally just had goosebumps. Okay, so first of all, ladies, if you're listening or watching, bookmark this. Make sure you take notes. Make sure you go back into and re-listen to this, because what Sheryl is sharing is gold. It's just absolute pure gold. I know video is intimidating. I know how many of you are horrified to even do like a Facebook Live or go into Instagram stories, because we always want this perfect. But it's like you said so many amazing things. The fact that we all start at zero, the fact that, yes, it is intimidating, the fact that, yes, you do have to keep practicing and showing up. But also, I love that fact that you said, focus on that one person, because absolutely, to me, the best way to do business is that genuine connection that we're all looking for. And I feel that a lot of times people shy away from digital world just because of that. They feel like you cannot build connection because it's so it's so impersonal. So from your experience, for the newbies who are just maybe like, how do I master that courage? How do I even go there? Does it really have to be perfect?
No, you don't want it to be perfect. First of all, perfection's unattainable. So let's just set that aside.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be perfect. And here's why. Because the power of video, as you will use it to grow your business, is through connection. It's the connection that is what you're looking for and what you really want out of it. And the way to be connecting with people is to be yourself. Mm-hmm. So the problems that I see with people when they start video, and if we're talking about beginners, they know they should be doing video. So they sit down at their computer and they start writing a script. And it takes 3 weeks to write the script because they go over the script 1,000 times. And then they get to the point where they go, okay, I've got a script. Now I've got a few choices. I'm either going to have to put this in a teleprompter, buy the teleprompter, learn how to use the teleprompter. Most people are not skilled enough to be able to read from a teleprompter well enough that it's worth their time. And if they decide to memorize it, then that causes a whole host of other problems, because now you've memorized it, but try delivering that to the camera and memorizing. It's a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are going on. So what is better is to forget all of that and to say, you know what, I'm just going to speak from the heart. Because the truth is, if you went into business in the first place, if you're a coach, a consultant, a speaker, an author, the reason that you are speaking or authoring a book or consulting and coaching people is because you already have knowledge and wisdom and insight, or else you wouldn't be doing that. So all we really need to do is get you to a point where you're able to express those ideas naturally, conversationally, just like you're talking to a person. So coming back to my first point, if you personify the lens, you're talking to one person. So now we have strategies that we can help you to extract out those nuggets of wisdom and the smart things that you say, and do it conversationally. That is way more authentic than sitting stoic and reading from a teleprompter like a robot. Nobody connects to that. They want to see the real you. They want to connect with the real you. the onus is on you now to show up and find the courage to do it.
Yeah, no, that is so true. I mean, everything you're saying, I hope, ladies, this is thousands of dollars worth of training right here, because I'm telling you, being on stage and haven't been, speaking as long I've been speaking, everything you just said is so, so true. It's so incredible. And I know that one of your channels that you prefer and you do a lot with is YouTube, right? And same thing. I feel so much resistance from women I work with. A lot of times they're like, it's so huge, it's unattainable. You have this 14-year-olds on YouTube that are crushing it, and it just doesn't make any sense. And, what are some pointers for YouTube, building your YouTube presence, and why is it important, especially now? What are some pointers that you can touch on real quickly? Maybe a
Sure.
couple.
YouTube is a behemoth, no question. And YouTube wasn't always my core focus and my core platform, Alenka. I actually built my business predominantly on Facebook until this calendar year. And if you're watching or listening to this, it is 2020.
Yeah.
And so I focus now on YouTube, and I have seen exponential growth. 8,000 new subscribers in 90 days, 680,000 video views in 90 days. Organically.
Wow.
How did I do that? I used my 4P framework, which I teach. And the fundamentals of it is that I help people to position themselves as experts, authorities, resources, and leaders at what they do. The easiest way to do that in any platform, but let's talk about YouTube specifically, is to teach, to be of service and to be providing tips and strategies and videos that are teaching and mentoring and coaching people. And you're giving away some good stuff, but you're also building that know, like, and trust factor, which is crucial to you selling your own products or services, whatever it is that you do, whether it's coaching or mentorship or membership or whatever it is that you're selling. So that's what I do. If you go to my YouTube channel, we just crossed 11,000 subscribers. You'll see that all of the videos that I do, and I do it consistently. That's another important thing to understand. Every single week, come hell or high water, there is a video coming out, and you have to be consistent because your audience comes to rely on you and to trust you. If you break that bond, then you break the trust. And every single week, I'm providing valuable content that I'm producing and putting out there. And that's really the key to it. But YouTube is a behemoth. I believe that, for 85% of people watching, it should be your core platform as well. And that there is a ton of growth there because not only is it YouTube, but it is the second largest search engine in the world, but it's also a social network.
Yeah.
And it does so many different things. It is its own field of study.
Oh, God. I mean, first of all, I want to point out a couple of things. The fact that it's 8,000 subscribers in 90 days. Again, ladies, I want you to pay attention to what Sheryl is saying here, because she is telling you that she's basically building it. So you have an opportunity to watch her. That's why you need to follow. That's why you need to go see her YouTube channel, because this is someone who is building it and showing you how it's done step by step. Because, Sheryl, I talk all the time. I said, everybody wants to be Oprah and Ellen and whoever else, but there's a big step between where you are today and that leap to be where they are today. So you can't be comparing yourself. So I love working with women where I can show them the process, right? I can show them how I'm building something. So I so appreciate the fact that, one, you're crushing it, obviously, but two is the fact that you're willing to share your experience and say, hey, I am refocusing on YouTube. This is what I'm doing. This is the service and, value that I'm going to drive to you, and you can do it too. So ladies, again, make sure you go see it, follow Sheryl so you can see that journey. But more importantly, you said something that I'm sure you deal with a lot too, is consistency, right? I mean, it's funny to me when I get women who come back to me and they're like, well, I posted twice, in the last 2 months and nothing happened. And so the fact that you brought up that trust, it's so crucial. I mean, it's just like building trust with your clients. If they can't trust you, it's a relationship first, it's business second. So the fact that you're building that trust with your audience is so important. And like you said, you need that consistency. And and showing up. But you also mentioned something earlier that I want to come back to quickly. You said that you're helping people become experts. And I don't know, and I'm sure you can attest to that. I've seen it so many times where people who are even successful will come to me and say, well, I don't feel like an expert. What makes me an expert to the point that I'm worthy of being on YouTube? So how do you deal with that pushback?
Well, I think that, well, first of all, I think it has to do with, do you have any level of knowledge, expertise, insight, wisdom, experience, know-how? And if you're one step ahead of the other person, one could argue that you're an expert compared to them.
Mm.
Does it have to mean that you are making $20 million a year? Not necessarily. It doesn't really have to do with money as much as it has to do with just level of experience and knowledge and insight and wisdom. And it doesn't have to mean that you are 20 steps ahead of the other person. It could just be that you're one step ahead of that other person. I think that imposter syndrome it runs rampant in entrepreneurship because of what you mentioned earlier, which is this idea of comparison. Mm-hmm. I could sit here all day and compare myself to the people that I love and adore. Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo. I mean, the list goes on of these people who I love and whose podcasts I've been listening to for years, whose courses I've taken, whose books I've read. And I could sit here and compare myself to them and feel really awful about myself because I'm nowhere near the level, depending on how you quantify that success. And so I don't do that. I admire them. I look at them as, if they've done it, why can't I? So I look at them and say, I want you to drive me toward what it is I feel like I've been put on this earth to do, instead of looking at you and saying, oh gosh, look at her. She has everything I don't have. It's really let those people drive you toward the things, the actions, which, again, I know that that's what you're all about, right? Is action taking. Stop thinking, let's just take some action. And you do need to be consistent. And it isn't always easy. I mean, there are weeks that come, I publish every Thursday on my YouTube channel. And it's funny how quickly Thursday comes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right. I go, oh, it's Thursday tomorrow? Okay. So not, but what do? I have had mornings where I'm at 3:00 in the morning and I'm putting the last edits on a video, because I still do create my own content, even though in my agency, we have teams of people that are on our team who produce videos for our clients. But I actually still have my hand in my own videos for a variety of different reasons. I feel like it's important for me to still be boots on the ground, hands on, so that I can understand the frustrations that my ideal clients and customers face. So there's some reasons why I do that. But yeah, it is about consistency, and it isn't always easy. But the people that you admire, so I want you to think now, who are the people that you admire who might be, quote unquote, more successful than you, who are further down the path than you? And I bet that if I do this in my workshop, I bet if you were to go back and look at the early stages of those entrepreneurs, they did something similar to what I'm saying, probably exactly like what I'm saying, which is consistent content at least once per week for years. It's not 2 videos, guys. It's not, it isn't posting twice and saying, where are all the leads? Mm-hmm. It's consistency week after week after week without expecting anything in return.
Yeah. Yeah. And that point, that is so brilliant. It's without expecting, right? You lead with your value and you don't place expectations. And then if you're consistent and the value is there, people are going to start reaching out and you're going to start getting leads, because you're building your tribe. Essentially, it's like you said, you're making that connection. You're building people who want to work with you, who want to be experts and want your help to become one. So yeah, absolutely love that. And I know you have a workshop coming up, so I'm very excited about it. I love the title, by the way. I mean, Cash In on Camera. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So tell me a little bit more, like, what's the structure? What do they get? Kind of like, you don't have to give everything away. You're giving them already thousands and thousands of dollars worth of training. But so just kind of like an overall takeaway. What would they get out by being there?
Well, Cash In on Camera, the workshop, is a full day of coaching and Q&A and training with me. And I take you through a variety of different frameworks that I use week in and week out, not only for myself, but for my clients. And I give all of that to you during the workshop. So I teach you my 4P framework. I teach you how I was able to get the type of results that I'm getting. How do I have a video with 575,000 views in just a few short months? Like, how do I have that? Well, it's through the 4P framework. So I teach that. I also teach the ACE model. So the ACE model is really the foundation of what's working today in the post-pandemic world, and really where we're going for the next decade in terms of what is required. What are the 3 key elements that you need to have in conjunction with one another to make your video marketing successful? And so I go over the ACE model. And I will teach outlines. I will teach all of the different frameworks to help you. And we even do, you have to bring a notebook and a pen, but we also do some mind mapping. So I actually work with you to help you start sketching out your custom content strategy through the lens of video. And it's an amazing workshop. We've been getting great reviews and testimonials for it. And something that I want to do for your audience, Olenka, is to offer your listeners, your viewers, a complimentary ticket to the workshop. So here's what you have to do to take advantage of it. Text me at 226-917-2038 or email me, DM me. It doesn't matter. Reach out to me by email or what have you, and tell me that you heard me speak on the I Start First podcast, and I'll gift you a ticket. I love doing this workshop because it's really transformational for people. That opens their eyes to possibility, opportunity, strategy. They have more clarity by the time they leave in a few short hours.
Oh, wow. I mean, first of all, thank you. Thank you so, so much. I mean, I hope you all are listening and watching and taking notes. But here's what, I mean, you heard Sheryl. She will gift you a ticket. I mean, first of all, when you were speaking, I'm like, sign me up. Like, I want to be in it. And I do video all the time. Yes. But it's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Your results speak for themselves. I'm a big fan. I always tell people, don't follow coaches who sell you courses, follow coaches who produce results, right? And so I know what you are doing is so incredible in a sense that you're literally showing your journey, you're doing that, you're showing up, you're showing your numbers, you're super transparent with everybody, which is amazing. I mean, that in itself just shows who you are and the integrity you stand for. But on top of it, the fact that you're willing to serve and give this gift to the audience that I work, I'm so grateful, honestly. So ladies, we will put the text message number, we will put all the contacts for Sheryl in the notes, in the show notes, so you can absolutely reach out. You have to take advantage of that, because I don't care where you are in the world listening to this. Just like she said, we're in post-pandemic world. Some of us are still in pandemic world, because I am, if you're listening to this, I'm still sitting in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're still very much on lockdown. We barely do anything. So for us here, it's like wave number 77. I don't even know what to call it. But the reality is, all of us are at this point aware that, one, this is going to be a major change. There's going to be a major shift in the way we do business, whether we like it or not. This post-pandemic world is going to take a minute to get to whatever new normal that we are going to create. So digital is not going anywhere anytime soon. So if you're not taking advantage of that and building connections and establishing yourself, like Sheryl said, as an expert on the channels that you need to be on. And YouTube is exactly that. It's one of the biggest channels. And on top, it has unbelievable search opportunities. So you have to take advantage of this. I mean, honestly, the fact that she's even offering it to you for free is crazy to me. But I super appreciate you for doing this. So, yes, take advantage. We'll put everything in the show notes. I mean, cash in on camera, freaking brilliant marketing. Love, love, love that. But you also said one thing. You said, for a variety of reasons, you're still doing a lot of your own video. And this is where I feel like, again, some of the resistance comes from, hey, I don't have the money to buy the expensive camera. I don't have the opportunity to have this equipment or have a videographer or do whatever 77 preparation steps that lead to nowhere. So is it all really necessary when you started?
No, it isn't. When you're and I think sometimes what happens, Olenka, is that people like to fall back on those things for a reason, rather for excuses for not doing the thing that's scaring them.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that it's been democratized. I mean, we all have phones, and most of them shoot HD video. Mm-hmm. And is the audio quality perfect? No, but remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. When you are a beginner, the most important thing you can do is to start. Right? You need to start. And this phone is really all you need. I'm using a webcam today on this laptop. You could use a webcam like this. And I talk about this in the workshop and really help to dispel this idea or myth that I have to have 5-point lighting systems and a crew of videographers following me around. You can do that when you are Marie Forleo and when you are Gary Vaynerchuk, right? But when you're starting out, you have to use what you have. Mm-hmm. And most of you you're probably watching this. If you're watching the video, you're probably watching this on your mobile device, but, or if you're listening to the podcast, probably listening through your mobile device. And that is all you really need to get started. Now, the technology is one thing. Okay. That's the easy thing to solve. The more challenging thing to solve is, what do I say? How do I say it? How often do I say it? How long do I say it for? And those things are tied to strategy and messaging and branding, so those are the things that we really kind of go into in depth on the workshop. And that's the more pertinent thing that you should be focusing on. The technology is the easy thing to solve.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, I am going to do this just because I love everything you said. It's amazing. So ladies, join me and it's going to be a blast. I know it is, because just like I said, just following your journey and being able to see what you're doing. I mean, I applaud you. I admire you. It's awesome. So awesome. So much truth. Amazing. So again, ladies, everything is going to be in the show notes. Sheryl, I cannot thank you enough for your generosity. But before you leave today, I want to ask you one question that I ask everybody. So I know there are ladies out there who are listening right now and they're like, oh my God, everything she said, sign me up. I want to learn this. I want to do this. I want to whatever stage of success I want to grow into. So she wants to be possibly just like Sheryl. So if that's the case, what would be one advice you would give her and why?
The piece of advice that I would give someone who wants to step into my shoes would be to think and act like a content creator. Mm-hmm. And that can be done today. You could, without any editing, you could go live on a platform like Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube. Pick a platform of your choice where you can go live. And I want you to just start. Just without thinking too much, don't overthink it. Pick a tip or a strategy or something that you can teach that's within your realm of expertise, and just open up a live stream and say, hey, you might not know the perfect structure right now. You might not know all the strategy, but just do something to build momentum. Start that live stream and say, hey, I want to teach you something, and just teach it and see what kind of results you get. You'll be amazed at how much momentum it builds, how many people respond to it. And it might not be thousands of people, but if you have 0 people who are watching your videos right now because you're not doing any videos, and you do a live stream and you have 5 people who respond, that is called momentum because you've started. Live stream, I believe, is one of the great ways to get that momentum started.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yes. I mean, so much. Yes. Yes. If you have 0 people watching because you're not doing it, might be my favorite line that you said today. It is so true.
we have to turn that into a meme or something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is called momentum when you actually start. I love it. I mean, Sheryl, like I said, thank you for your generous gift. Again, ladies, Sheryl is going to gift you a ticket to her workshop, which I know is sought after. I know how many people she attracts. So the fact that you are on this podcast, this is your lucky day. literally you need to go follow her, make sure you follow her journey, and that you show up for yourself. And she might be that catalyst and that push that you need to start that video, because I know a lot of you have created the stories in your head already, how you can't do it for a gazillion of reasons. Join the workshop with Sheryl so she can take away the stories and show you what in reality it looks like, what it should be like. So I'm very excited about that. So Sheryl, thank you so much again for being with us, for sharing your wisdom, and for this amazing, amazing gift to the I Start First ladies.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to I Start First podcast. If you loved it as much as I did, feel free to tag us on Instagram at IStartFirst_. Share it with your besties, and if you feel so compelled, give us that 5-star review on iTunes. Till next time, and like always, kick ass and sparkle up.